Everyone, welcome to a new episode of the Outlier Podcast, a live episode from GAC. I've got Brian with me. Brian, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, Brian is CEO of Dort Financial. He's been leading the credit union since the last couple of years. Amazing progress. I've looked at your numbers. You're doing a good job, for the lack of better words,
I
right?
appreciate that. For sure.
So, we want to catch up for a casual conversation today, Brian, as you know, and talk about basic priorities, what are you doing at the credit union, where's the movement going. So you've been a credit union veteran almost, for years now. Been doing this it's not your first rodeo, right? First question I want to ask you, Brian, is you came to GAC earlier, and this is not your first GAC. What do you think is the systemic change that you are seeing in GAC, or it's like too early to talk about that?
Well, I think that the change in GAC is for me personally. So I've approached it a completely different way this year. For me, it's about, being authentic and meeting people. It's not the racehorse like it was a couple of years ago. So you're trying to get everywhere, do everything, do all the things. But I think it's being really intentional about who you're meeting with, how you're having these conversations, and what you're doing. People refer to it as Super Bowl credit union conferences, and it's probably true. But what I like about it is it brings so many people together, CEOs, strategy officers, lending officers from across the country, and really some great vendor partners. And what it gives us a chance to do is sit down and have very purposeful conversations about where we think the future is, kind of collaborate together and see what we can all do next together.
Yeah, that's a more viable approach than carpet bombing and meeting everyone. It doesn't really work out.
It doesn't work out. Right? If you go through the vendor hall, you can sit there and meet 100 different people, but is it the right thing? For me, it's not. For me, it's finding those vendors that I think are really going to do service for my members. But for me, too, it's also about doing research ahead of time, right? Hey, these are the vendors in the room. Who are we working with? Who should we be talking to? Who are other credit unions talking to that we see great things happening? So again, planning that out so that you can have those good conversations.
Absolutely right. This was, this strategy is really helpful. I mean,
Yes.
other credit unions might want to apply the same. Moving on to next, right? In terms of priorities, right? I know. I mean, you came to the credit union, not long back, right? So, what are your current priorities? If you were to maybe, rank order your priority 1, 2, and 3 right now, what are the priorities that you're focusing on for Dot Financial?
Yeah, we have a couple different priorities, but one, we're always focused on our employees. We really feel like that, we provide the best employee engagement experience for our employees, that they're going to give back to our members tenfold. And we've seen that come to fruition. When I first got there, I think there was a different approach, not that it's bad, but we did an employee engagement score, and the score was lower than we had hoped. And over the last 2 years, we've really brought that score up to leading the industry. And, we did that without Jeans Days, without pizza days, without. We did that by truly engaging with our employees, meeting them where they are, and giving them an experience at work that they truly love. We want them to do work that they love to do. And so we've been able to provide that to them, and that's been really helpful. So one, continuing that mantra of employees are really our table stakes. I was just talking about AI this morning and how that's spreading. What I realize is it's about getting the data, right? But our employees are our table stakes, right? So, for example, if we know something's happening within the economy and we know people are going to be laid off, we can reach out to them proactively, but having them reach out and talk to somebody is going to be our table stakes. So I think that's priority number one, is just to continue our mantra of employees. The second thing is so we had the acquisition in Florida that closed a couple of years ago. We're operating out of Outlier Credit Union division of Dort Financial, and then we partnered with Florida Atlantic University for their naming rights of their stadium. So priority 2 is really just kind of getting focused on that as well. So with that, we're the official credit union of the Alumni Association. But how do we really bring financial services to the university? So we partnered with their athletic director and some of their coaches, and we're bringing financial education and wellness to their athletes first. If that goes well, then we can bring this out into a whole scope for the entire university. Big dreams, right? Yeah. And so really, again, it's just focusing on those key relationships that we've built over the last couple of years to really, make the credit union. And the third one is technology and efficiency, right? How do we continue to become a more efficient credit union? I heard another CEO say this, about technology. It's about doing the jobs that people do not like to do, right? So again, going back to employees, right? Technology isn't going to replace our isn't going to replace our table stakes, but it is going to allow people to spend more meaningful time on driven work.
Sure.
And that's really important. So technology efficiencies and just, creating the best member and employee experience we can.
That's fantastic. I mean, the way how you summed up like 1, 2, and 3, that's what
Yeah.
was expected out of you. That's
Yeah.
okay. Moving on to the next. I mean, I'm very passionate about helping credit unions grow
Yeah.
because unless we grow fast, because you're not competing against another credit union in the block, you're competing against a Chime, a Revolut, and a Chase, right?
Yeah.
So we have to remember that. So one of the research by Ron Shevlin, one of my mentors and friends, Ron found that 69% credit unions have their first priority as membership growth. And I did a survey of 50 credit unions myself 3 months back. I found 92% of them talked about membership growth. What do you think? Where are your priorities? I mean, you just talked about your top three, but where do you think is membership growth a priority for Dot Financial, and why do you think this is a challenge for us right now?
Yeah. I think membership growth is really important. It's not, we measure that number. It's not something it's not our core focus for the year. And the reason I say that is because, again, I think we're also redefining what a member is. So, I think a couple of years ago, everyone wanted to talk about primary financial institution or PFI. And I've been really working with our board of directors and our management team about, what, those days are over, right? We're not going to be a primary financial institution for most people because of the Chimes, because of the SoFis, because of this, because they're offering something that our members need and, literally want, but we don't have. And so can we offer everything to everybody? No. So we have to be very, again, purposeful. I love that word, what we're doing, what services we're providing, but be okay when our members go elsewhere for certain products and services. Because we can't be everything to everybody. If you try, you will fail.
I mean, that's like table stakes. We cannot be everything.
So I think I had the best checking account in the country, and I offer you, 7% back on the first $15,000.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you should become a member. Right? All you have to do is make 25 debit or credit transactions and have a direct deposit. It's very simple.
You do it like in the 2 days. Exactly, 7% back, right?
So so if I can have everyone have our checking account, great. If I can provide financial services to high school students and college students, and that's going to let them join the credit union, great. If I give someone their first car loan, even better. First mortgage, I love that, right? And I love that each individual product, and I'm not necessarily worried about you have 4 products and services. It used to be not anymore, to be honest with you. And so I think membership growth is important. I think what we have to focus is on how we're providing the member service, what that number is, how we're looking. I know a lot of credit unions do indirect. And say, well, those aren't really members. Which is accurate. They are. They have a car loan with you. You're giving them a service. And, hopefully they have a great service for their car loan. And then maybe the next one comes to you. But they're a member for that 2.5 or 3 years they have the car, and you have to treat them as such. I had the widget to get everyone to remember to be more of a primary financial institution. I wouldn't be working anymore. I'd be retired because I'd sold it. But I still think let's treat them as a member. Send them the information. Get them in front of us. Eventually, something may click with them. So continue working. I do think growth for the sake of growth is really rough too. So look at your balance sheets. Make sure everything is in line. Take the hard hits where you need to take them. Take a hard look at the way you're doing business. And I would highly suggest that every credit union or every leader really take the time to sit back and rebalance everything that you're doing and make sure as you lead forward, you're really leaning into what you do well. And I think you'll have a lot of success. And that's where you'll see the growth. I personally don't focus on this is another. Yeah. Talking to members and talking to partners, they're obviously saying this is a membership. We're going to hold them accountable to that number. But, we really want to know that we're being just whatever we need for that member at the time we're giving.
Interesting. So one last question for us is, so when you climb the hill on Wednesday, right? Yeah. What success story maybe, what do you talk about in front of?
Oh, that's a loaded question. Here's my success story. So I think this, right? So credit unions, and I'm gonna be a little maybe a little divisive in this comment. So I think a lot of credit unions went around. We want to tell people we are the best financial choice for most people in the country, right? Regardless of your what. And I agree with that. I think we are a really good financial choice for everyone. So, I have a naming rights stadium, and that gets a lot of hits, right? Get a lot of in the industry, outside the industry, and I defend it, and I defend it very well. Here's my thing. It really is a marketing tool. So when I talk to congressmen and representatives and senators, and they're telling me this, hey, what about this? My answer to that is, if you really think that credit unions are the best financial choice for everyone, then why are you getting mad at me for marketing?
Yeah.
Right? And that's all it is marketing. So everyone should be a member. I'm just making a huge marketing play. Second to that, I also want to talk about, so we purchased a bank. Again, second thing that's a little divisive in the industry, but we purchased a bank in Florida in a very wealthy area, West Palm Beach.
Mm-hmm.
So we have really focused on low income group down there. We have grown that by almost 8% in that market. And 8% doesn't sound like a lot over 2 years. When it was zero, right?
0 to 8 is a big thing.
0 to 8 is a huge number.
From 7 to 15 and 0 to 8 is a different new ball.
That's right. That's right. And I think when you think about West Palm, you think of a lot of wealth.
The ultra rich people.
Yeah, very privileged, Rolls Royces, Bentleys, all those things.
But I cannot buy. But I cannot buy anything.
Right. I'm not doing any of that. But I do think it's important that there is a lot of individuals on there who do not have those privilege and wealth. And so how do we focus on them? And we've really done that. And I want to say to my team has done an amazing job, only in Florida, but also my strategy team and everyone. Just really having a focus on that.
So this was great, Brian, spending time with us and sharing our GAC experience. So everyone, be tuned to this. I'm sure we'll share this after GAC because all of us are running right now. But this was a great GAC experience. That was the first one we got today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.